All right, this is the Town of Lake Park, Florida Special Call Community Redevelopment Agency meeting for Wednesday, November 20th, 2024. The time is now 6:33 p.m. Can we have the clerk please take the roll call?
Present.
Board Member Taylor.
Here.
Board Member Hensley.
Present.
Vice Chair Glass Castro.
Here.
Chair Mashad.
Here. Can we all please rise for the pledge? And can we have Ms. Josie lead us off in the pledge? Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. We have nothing on the special presentations or reports. Public comment, I don't think I have any public comment cards for this portion of the meeting. Next we have is the consent. Can I entertain a motion?
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
We have a first and a second. Any other further discussion? Seeing, hearing none. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? The consent passes. Under new business, we have Resolution 97-1124, amending the grant agreement with Lake Park Group for the property at 1301 10th Street. Ms. Allison.
Good evening, Board Chair, Board members, Town Attorney. This is a resolution that I'm bringing back from our discussion on November 6th about extending the Oceana Lake Park Group agreement. There was a discussion at that meeting to potentially move the certificate of completion date to June 30th, 2025. That has been completed within the agreement, and that is before you tonight.
Okay. We did discuss this at the last CRA meeting. Do we have any questions for our administrator or staff as a whole? Any questions?
Yep.
Vice Mayor? I'm sorry, Vice Chair.
So this is final CO, not a TCO or some kind of interim part
This
of
is
that?
final CO.
That's my only question. I have comment.
Okay. Any questions over here to my right?
Can you see yours, like here?
Sure.
Because I apologize.
No problem. That's okay. Board Member Taylor, do you have anything? No? Well, we'll pause for a minute while you guys look up to see if you can get anything. And
Yeah, we've been having a little technical difficulty with this.
I'm good.
And again, because I'll just ask the question. I know that this says a final CO date.
Okay.
That doesn't mean that they'll take that whole length of extension.
We certainly hope not.
Yeah,
Yes,
we do.
correct.
We do certainly
I
hope
want to
not.
find it.
So,
Okay. That
Okay.
was for the final, and it's till June 20, excuse me, Thomas speaking, June 30th.
That is correct.
That was the,
That is the drop dead date.
right?
Correct.
No temporary, no.
So temporary final
Okay.
CO.
Okay, that's what I wanted, like to confirm. Thank you so much.
okay. You're good? With that, I'll entertain a motion.
Since it was my request, I'll do it. I'll make a motion to approve the resolution 9711, is it?
97-11-24.
11-24? Okay,
Yep.
good.
Second?
Second.
Okay, we have a first and a second. Any other further discussion or comment? Vice Chair.
Future agenda item kind of thing. I'm going to have the same comment on the next three items. The CRA needs to hold our businesses, property owners accountable before we hand out money. I'm really concerned about us handing out money this December when they didn't meet their obligations. We're giving them till June, yet we're still continuing to hand out money. So I'll just leave it at that.
Nope. Very well said.
If I may, Vice Mayor, going forward, we're going to be looking at ways to secure our agreements and make sure that our public funds are better protected going forward.
Okay.
I concur. I mean, that has been a big beef for me with this, but I don't want our business community for us to appear as though we are not welcoming businesses and that we are not trying to assist as best as we can. But this is probably, I think, the third request from this particular business that has been somewhat frustrating, and thus the reason why I gave it the extension, because I'm truly, truly like annoyed with that whole process, and instead of sort of like beating this to death, I just want it over and done. So,
And if you can, go, I know you're going to say, and if you can, please try and find something sooner rather than later.
We will work on that.
Yeah. And
Absolutely.
just so the board is, oh, sorry.
To that point, I don't want to be known as the CRA, the town that hands out money and doesn't hold you to your responsible obligations, or that we just waive it and just hand out money.
Right.
I
And
agree.
if I may further, it gives the impression that the town is not business-friendly.
Correct.
When businesses just come and go. It's like a revolving door.
Correct.
They have no business plan, they have no security, they have nothing. They think, well, open their doors and they will come, and it doesn't work that way.
Okay,
Thank you.
A two-way street.
absolutely. We're all good? Okay. No other further discussion? Seeing here none, those in, Vice
Just-
Chair.
I just saw this is not worded correctly. It says request extend the certificate of completion. In my mind, this is a brand-new project, so it needs to be a certificate of occupancy, not a certificate of completion by June 30th.
That is correct. That is correct. So, do you want to, does that require an amendment?
It's in the staff report. I don't know if that's carried forward in the agreement itself.
If it's in the resolution, we'll substitute certificate of occupancy for completion.
Okay. Then we're good. All set? Okay. All those in favor? Say aye.
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 Those opposed? All right. Resolution passes. All right. Resolution 981124, approving the assignment and amendment of the grant agreement with Brooklyn Cupcake to Liberty Square LLC, CRA Administrator. Oh,
If I may.
Executive Director.
These two items are being pulled from this agenda, and Ms. Allison will explain why.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, I'm requesting that these be continued to December 18th. I spoke to the property owner today, he signed a lease today with a new restaurateur. I would like to provide better details within the agreement on hours of operation and what the expectations are on this assignment prior to bringing this forward. So since I got this word today, I would like it to give us time until December 18th to bring it back.
Okay, thank you, not a problem. All right, so those items are getting pulled till the next meeting. And that's it under new business. CRA administrative comments.
I have no comments today other than hope to see everybody on December 6th. We've got, obviously, Reuniti has in her comments as well, the holiday tree lighting. The CRA is extending this event down the street. We have the holiday bouquets. Currently, we have 14 businesses participating in the holiday bouquets. So we'll finalize that tomorrow because we have to get a list together so we can promote which businesses are participating. But like I said, currently we have 14 businesses. 4, I think, from 10th Street, and then the rest on Park Avenue. So we're excited for them to come participate with us.
Okay,
All right?
thank you. Executive Director?
I have no comments this evening, thank you.
Okay, any comments from the board? Board Member Taylor?
Yes, this isn't for Mr. Justice, but it's for probably Mr. Morales about the CRA landscaping. Is this the appropriate time to speak about that? Sure. Mayor?
Yes, if
Yeah,
it's
since we're
CRA
on the
related,
CRA
yes,
thing.
absolutely.
I would like to find out a little more about that because, I mean, I try to let it go, but when you ride down that street, I hear people's comments, and I know there's a lot of native plants there, but they're out of place there because native plants creep and they go over the curbing and the purple brown ones. They're not getting any better. I think that's the nature of the plant. That's just what it is. But it is also I would like to know a few questions, and maybe not tonight, you might not have the answers, but I would like to know the landscaper, and I would like to know a little bit about that contract for that, and I would like to know what, if anything, can be done about that, because that was a lot of money, $466,000 spent down there for the clock tower and that landscaping, and that's a lot of money that to feel bad when you drive down the street. It looked better before they did it, honestly. I don't know whether anybody agrees with me, and maybe I try not to be picky, and I tried to let it go, but I can't. So if I could find out what we could do about that, if anything, I think it would help. Help me.
So we've been working with the contractor. He has submitted an additional cost to cover the additional maintenance for the corridor. We are going to go out for new bids on a new contract. And in the meantime, we're going to work with him, and we're going to try to bring the corridor up to date, which we've been doing. He should be mulching this week and taking care of the remainder of the landscaping in the corridor.
I do see people working down there. I do see the workers trying to straighten it up. But when you talk about a new contract with the same guy, I mean, to improve the old contract or another whole other.
So there's two type of contract, Commissioner. One was the installation of the new landscaping, and the other one is for the current maintenance of the corridor. So it's the same contractor that was there prior to the installation, but now since it's increased the amount of landscaping that he has to take care of, that's where he proposed a new upscale cost to the new maintenance for the corridor.
We heard about that last meeting. It was something like $2,600 a month or something like that. Well, then you're not, but I'm saying that the landscaping itself is the problem. What we had before always looked nice when they finished it. It was neat. I can understand maybe wanting to color it up a little bit, but not the way it's done. Is there any alternative? We have any recourse to that contract if we're not a satisfied customer? I mean, myself as a resident or a customer, if I paid, I would never pay that much. I don't have that much to pay for that, but I would certainly expect it to look better than it did before they did it. What is the recourse we have, if any?
Well, right now, I don't think we have much because they planned what it was designed for. At the time that we designed the corridor, we had to make a selection of what type of species we were going to have in the corridor. So right now, it's already in there. We can't have the contractor that installed it to come and remove it and at his cost and plant something else. So then we have to work with our constraints within our boundaries to probably enhance the corridor or try to fix those species that are not being able to.
Excuse me, I didn't want to interrupt you. Who selected those plants?
The architect. There is an architect.
Well, then what about him? I mean, those are the wrong plants for the wrong place.
I wasn't here. It was before.
And I know you weren't, James. I should have said that to begin with. I know you were not here.
But
that was before your time and before Allison's time. I know that. I'm sorry that I didn't say that before I started going off on it. And I try to control myself, you know.
No,
but
you're doing fine.
But-
Is there a way you can just look into the matter and give a summary to all of us about
The architect.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
yeah.
Which we've been working with, but I'll give you an update of what we've done and how we're trying to address the situation.
Yeah, if you can do that, that'd be greatly appreciated.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah,
no
because,
problem.
It's a sad situation is what it is. And I'm not, I know neither one of you had anything to do with it.
But we agree with you, and Jamie and I have been working closely together to
Thank you.
A, fix what is there, what's there is there. B, go back to what the contracts were to see if there's any recourse if something wasn't done correctly. And C, make sure that the maintenance that we get going forward have the appropriate skills to maintain the plants and do the things that we need. So there's a couple different things we're looking at. One, I notice it. I'm walking there all the time as well. I understand this. Yeah. And I, just mentioned to Jamie tonight that I would like to potentially look at bidding out just litter removal separate from a landscape contract. I notice lots of litter, so there's some things we can do because our place there is the most important thing that we we have, and the way it looks and feels is extremely important. So we have to be at that level to make it.
Well, now,
Absolutely.
now that you mentioned the architect, that's who I'm not happy with now, because that is wrong. I mean, those plants are wrong for that place. You know, the beach daisies are going all over there. I mean, they're not meant to be that kind of a setting. They're meant for a much more casual setting, especially those copper plants and stuff. They look wilted on the day they came in. They look wilted today, to me.
So you'll get us that summary,
Yes.
email it to the whole commission,
Yes.
and then, of course, we know not to reply all, but just reply directly to you.
I will.
Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry, I didn't mean to be
That
myself.
that is quite all right. Okay, any other comments? Any requests for any future agenda items? Board Member Thomas.
Not necessarily a request, but I did want to commend our staff in regards to last week's redevelopment information booth. The Rust Market was really nice going there. The painting was good. The music was good. I liked the genre, especially that the redevelopment artist was there. We came early, so I didn't really stay late, but I certainly enjoyed going in and patronizing some of the vendors that were there. I'm still eating my sourdough blueberry bread, and it was delicious. So I just want to say thank you. Right. And also, is Reunity here? No.
She's there.
Somewhere? Okay.
She's there. She heard you.
Also, to say thank you regarding the Centennial Park display. It was really nice. Just great. It was nice going and seeing how beautiful it was, and just thank you. That's all.
Well, I think we all can echo that same sentiment.
Thank you. Just so you all know, the sourdough, I walked by at about 1:30 p.m., and they were taking pictures, and she said she just sold her last loaf. So it was her first market, and she sold out. So she was a hit.
Thank you. Yeah, they were, both of them.
Yeah, both of them did.
Yeah, and I made sure, really nice. Now, the only thing that we need to do now is maybe add a little green market to it or something like that.
You know, I think that we may be working on that.
I don't mind bringing my avocados.
Maybe working on that.
I don't mind bringing my avocados. Yes, that's true.
All right. All set? All right. With nothing else, I'll entertain a motion of adjournment so we can go to our next meeting.
I motion to adjourn the.
Second, all in
Second.
favor? All in favor?
Yes.
Yeah, aye.
Okay.
Aye.
So we'll just go right on into it. Okay. This is the Town of Lake Park, Florida regular commission meeting for Wednesday, November 20th, 2024. The time is now 6:51 p.m. Can we please have the clerk take the roll call?
Thank you. Commissioner Hensley,
Present.
Commissioner Taylor,
Here.
Commissioner Thomas,
Present.
Vice Mayor Glass Castro, Mayor Mashad.
Present. We'll bypass the pledge since we already did that at our earlier meeting. Next, we have a presentation recognizing the Town of Lake Park Centennial. And I believe we have some members of our Centennial Committee that are here tonight. If we can have them, please come up.
Yeah, we're already up.
Actually, if we don't mind, I'm going to have the vice mayor come up and read because I'm actually on the committee. So.
This is a proclamation declaring the Town of Lake Clark Centennial, November 2023. Whereas Harry Seymour Kelsey purchased land in Florida in 1919, and whereas Harry S. Kelsey entrusted the Olmsted brothers and Dr. John Nolan to plan and design that land to help create Kelsey City, and whereas Kelsey City was incorporated on November 16, 1923, and whereas Kelsey City became the first zoned municipality south of Washington, D.C., whereas on August 5th, 2020, the Centennial Celebration Committee was formed in preparation of the town's centennial, and whereas on May 3rd, 2022, the Centennial Celebration Committee held its first meeting and met every month thereafter to plan for the monumental year. And whereas throughout 2023, the town of Lake Park held many events to celebrate its centennial, including sunset celebrations, the historical home tour, the Battle of the Badges Centennial Edition, Harry Kelsey's birthday party, the Centennial Easter Extravaganza, the Centennial Arbor Day celebration, the Centennial Art on Park Festival, the Centennial Gala, the Lake Park Public Library Historical Exhibit, and the Time Capsule Ceremony on November 16th, the town's actual anniversary, to honor the 100th anniversary of the town. And whereas on November 18th, 2023, the town hosted the Centennial Celebration Festival in Kelsey Park, which concluded with an extravagant firework display. Now, therefore, on behalf of the Town Commission, the mayor does hereby publicly recognize November 16, 2023 as the town's centennial.
Well, I want to thank the committee. We did a lot of great things together, and it turned out well. None of it would have been possible without the support of this committee. I did invite one person tonight, but he didn't make it. He brought a 1903 vehicle to the ceremony to drive Mary at the time capsule. We got some great pictures of it. So it was a great time. Thank you very much. And we'll make a decision where this is going to go, either at the Historic Society or maybe in the capsule for the upcoming next 50, 100 years, whatever it is. So thank everybody on the committee. You guys did a great job. All right, thank you.
I'd just like to give a special thank you to Rianiti Franks, because without her, this would have never have happened. I know we sat night after night for endless hours making decisions, and all of your effort and all of your support really made this such a great, successful event. So thank you so much, Rianiti.
Okay, anyone else? No? Okay. All right. Thank you, Vice Mayor.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm also going to say I want to thank Vivian also Mendez, who also kept our meetings in line as far as rules and regulations. And I know you're waving, you don't want the recognition, but you're getting it anyway. Thank you. Okay. With that, next we have our presentation regarding FEMA assistance. So we have our representatives here, and I will let them take the floor.
Yeah, if I may. Immediately following Hurricane Milton in October of this year, staff disseminated to residents information describing how to apply for FEMA assistance if impacted by Hurricane Milton, as well as information on how to prepare for a hurricane, which contained the link to FEMA resources. Earlier this month, FEMA representatives conducted one-on-one meetings with each member of the Town Commission for the purpose of providing information regarding how to apply for FEMA assistance. Josephina Geneo, with the IGA Governmental Affairs Office of External Affairs, is here this evening to introduce the FEMA subject expert. I believe his name is Zugay Beltran, and I apologize if I'm mispronouncing your name, who will provide an explanation of different FEMA programs. Copies of the FEMA informational flyers are attached as backup to this agenda item and are also available here in the Commission chamber for pickup by the general public. Go ahead.
Thank you for having us here. We really appreciate everyone's time. We have here our subject expert matter for individual assistance and also for SBA. So ahead.
Thank you, Josie. Good evening, everyone. Again, thank you so much for having us here today and giving us this space. My name is Zugay Beltran, and I'm going to give you a brief introduction of what the FEMA's individual and household program does. First, the date that we want everyone to remember is December 11, and that's the current date that the FEMA registration period ends. So if anyone hasn't registered, that's the day that will be the last day to register, as in right now. There's different ways to register with FEMA. The quickest and easiest way will be to register online at disasterassistance.gov. There's also the option of calling our helpline. The number is 1-800-621-3362. They're working from 7 a.m. To 12 midnight every day. Basically, once they register, they are registering for all the FEMA programs. It has two main components. The first one is housing assistance, and that has assistance for housing, assistance for survivors to find a safe place to live while they complete the repairs to their home, and assistance for home repair and replacement, and that is for homeowners whose primary residence has been impacted. The other component of our program is the other needs assistance, and that includes personal property, which is assistance for furniture and appliances that are essential. We also have transportation assistance. If a vehicle was damaged and is not drivable as a result of the disaster, that's something that we can assist with. We have clean and sanitize, medical expenses, moving and storage if someone needs to move or they need to have a storage unit to prevent additional damages to their personal property. Something that we always like to remind everyone is they don't need to wait for their insurance to apply with FEMA. They can do that right now, but it will be necessary for FEMA to have the insurance settlement or denial in order to make a final determination on the case. We have an inspection process. Right now, the inspection is taking around 14 days. If anyone that applies hasn't received an inspection, we invite them to call our FEMA helpline. Also, any determination in FEMA will include a letter. Oftentimes, survivors think they have been denied, when in reality, we just need additional documentation. So if anyone has questions as to what is the status of the FEMA case, please call our helpline. Again, the number is 1-800-621-3362 for assistance with that. And with that, I conclude my briefing unless there's any questions. And I'll leave you with Christian for the Small Business Administration. Thank you.
Good evening. Do you guys need this mic?
Yes.
You do need the mic?
Yes,
okay.
yeah,
I'm
you
going
have
to do my best to stay right here. I'm kind of tall, so it's kind of... So, good evening. My name is Christian Lewis. I'm a public affairs specialist with the Small Business Administration. I'm going to give you a brief overview of what we do. We offer low-interest loans to people after a disaster. That's the very short of it. We can get more intricate in about whether or not we're talking about a homeowner, a renter, a nonprofit, or a business. If we're talking about a homeowner, we will give as much as $500,000. For a renter, we will go as high as $100,000. The interest rate right now is a 2.8% interest rate, a 30-year term, up to 30-year term, 12 months no interest, 12 months no payments, and the first $50,000 of every loan, there's no collateral needed. If we're talking about businesses, interest rate can be as low as 4%, and then they have the same terms. The loans can be used for several things. Generally, people think about, you know, if my house was destroyed and I need to completely repair it. But it can be something as simple as I use my own funds, I did the work myself. You can still come to SBA and get a disaster loan so that you're not paying high interest credit cards on your own. You can come to SBA and say, hey, you know what? I know my insurance is going to come through, but I can't pay the deductible. You can come to SBA and get a loan just for the deductible. We also offer relocation. We offer refinancing. And you can also use the loans for mitigation. So if you need to more than repair but actually improve, we will cover that as well. You can apply online at sba.gov/disaster. You can go to some of our centers, which are all around the state, and I'll make sure someone has the information on how to find those. And then you can also call into our 800 number, 800-659-2955. Good evening. Thank you for attending my TED Talk.
Thank you.
Thank you. We're going to leave some materials here. We'll leave it here so that anybody who wants to look at the information regarding SBA or FEMA will have an opportunity. Thank you again for having us here.
No, and thank you for doing your presentation. It's very much important to us. We are a commission that really likes to disseminate information out there to the community, and we appreciate all that you guys are doing to give us that information and to be able to inform them, because again, sometimes people hear things and they take things in a misleading way. And it's good that we have the information that will tell you directly what they can do for assistance in any way possible for whatever damage that they may have. So
absolutely. And just to add that it doesn't matter if you had a little bit of damage, it's important to register to FEMA, because later on that small damage can become something greater. And if you didn't register or you missed a registration, we can't help you.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Do we have any questions for the representatives? Commissioner Thomas?
Thank you, Ms. Genoa. I do have one question. What's the deadline again? You said it was December?
December 11th.
Okay, December 11th. Is that also the deadline too for the SBA if you're going to?
December 10th for SBA.
It's a day earlier.
Let me be specific.
Make sure you come in the mic.
So December 10th is the date by which you have to get an application in. Once you have an application into our system, you have 6 months to satisfy everything that's needed to receive a loan. So if you're still waiting on paperwork, it's not a big deal, but we have to have a sharp cutoff date.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
All right. Thank you.
Commissioner Hensley? Commissioner Taylor? Vice Mayor? Okay. Thank you again.
Thank you for coming.
All right. Next, we have public comment. I have 4 public comment cards. I know I have 2 that pertain to a particular ordinance. Actually, I just want to ask Ms. Clark. I know you crossed out, you circled, but this is on the ordinance. Did you? Okay. Okay. All right. Please come up.
Good evening, commissioners, mayor, staff. I'm not sure if I would be here long enough for the actual ordinance of 13-2024, so I just want to make a general comment. I believe it was last Wednesday I was here when we discussed motorized vehicles in the community. And sometimes we as residents, if you're not totally impacted by it personally, you don't have a finger on it. Well, I was touched personally by it this afternoon on my way of coming shopping, and I believe I was on Bayberry when a 3 or 4 wheel motorized vehicle, a go-kart driven by an adult, sped in my direction. And it was only by the grace of God that it was daylight. I heard it. I didn't know what direction the sound was coming from, and the vehicle literally came towards me head on. I had to put on my brakes because I barely saw it as it swerved around me. So I'm going this way, and the vehicle was going towards Broadway. And I also want to bring up the fact that we also have children who are on golf carts, and sometimes they are accompanied by adults in a golf cart, but it is the child that is driving a golf cart. And I also want to bring to attention that the scooters that these children that are motorized. It was, again, by the grace of God that on 2nd and Greenbrier, generally I'm going about 25 miles an hour, maybe 20, 25. This particular afternoon at 3 o'clock when kids get out of school, my mind was somewhere else, and I just happened to have slowed down to going about 5 or 10 miles an hour, where a young kid on a 2-wheel motorized vehicle just jetted directly from, I think it was 2nd Street onto 3rd Street right into the driveway. No headgear, didn't stop at a sign, didn't look any direction, and I really miss clipping this kid head on pretty much. So I just want to say that I don't know what the decision is going to be when you finally get to that ordinance, but I'd like you to take in consideration that we as residents can be very careful, good driving history, have insurance, but it's the other party that is the problem right now, driving without any conscience of what the rules or road rules are. And then, I don't know, maybe I would end up being in trouble because I accidentally hit this young man, or I actually hit this man on a cart who was using his go-kart to get to and from work.
Thank you, Ms. Clark. We're done with the time.
I'm out of time?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
No problem. Mr. Sullivan.
Interesting, because actually I was going to talk on the same subject, but in a slightly different way. I've seen these little motorized scooter 2-wheel things, and they go down the center of the street. And when I was a kid, I used to have one I pushed with my foot. But the problem here is, when I had them, I always stayed by the side of the road and had a big reflector, 6-inch. These people have no helmets, no reflector, and no lights in the front. And I see them go down at nighttime, and they're wearing dark clothing on top of it. And there should be, the city should set up a licensing thing and make all these little motorized scooters have a license, so that when the people say I'm violating, they can pull them over without having the police chase them or anything. And they should be required to have at least a 4-inch reflector in the rear, plus a blinking red light, because most of those things get hit from the rear, and a reasonable bright light in the front. And be required to wear helmets at all times, because when I used to ride on these things, I always had a helmet on, and I was just pushing with my foot. And these electric ones, they go fast and can cause more trouble. And we have to do something to change that bad situation. That's all I have to say on that.
Thank you, Mr. Sullivan. Ms. Leduc, I have a card for you. Do you want to go ahead and hold off till the ordinance we talk about it, or? Okay. Okay. That's all the public comments cards I have. Let me just make sure so I don't surprise myself. Next, we have the consent agenda. I'll entertain a motion unless there's items to be pulled.
Yeah,
Commissioner Thomas?
Yeah, I'd like to pull items 8 through 10, 8, 9, and 10.
8, 9, and 10?
Yeah.
So items number 8, 9, and 10 will be pulled. I will need a motion, however, for the remainder of the consent agenda, which is items 3 to 7.
There it goes.
I need a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve consent agenda items 3 through 7.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any other further discussion? Seeing, hearing none, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, so items 3 to 7 was approved on consent. 8, 9, and 10 was pulled. I'll go ahead and start that now. We will start with item number 8, Resolution 104-1124, Florida Plaza Light LED Lighting Agreement, Phase 1. Commissioner Thomas.
You want to go first?
Yeah, you want to go?
You can go first.
Okay. Thank you. At our last agenda meeting, we were talking about, this was one of the concerns that we had, were the remaining lighting in the town. Okay, and as I looked at it, there were some concerns on my part, okay? I think when they were here, when FPL were here at our last meeting, was it 7? I think it was, anyway. There were only a few that they were looking at in order to change out the LCD lighting, right, 10, okay, that they were going to change out the LCD lighting. They said that there was a part 2 to it, and where there was going to be, I think, 156 or so, right, which is this one. So my question now is this lighting study that we have. It's in twofold. One, I looked at where either lights are or where lights are being proposed, and I see that there are several areas where there's no lights and that we actually need them. And I don't know if this would be the time to discuss it. And then there was also too in the agenda, I think it's probably the planimetric lighting where there's some squiggly lines that either it shows where the lighting will project or areas that were in need, but there was no legend there to explain what they were, and I think it was on 437, page 437 in the, online. But those were just some concerns that I had, because if we're going to put in so many additional lights, we have blocks that I know are just dark. And I don't know and then there were areas too where I didn't think that they needed as many lights as close as they were. I would say probably a few of them were maybe businesses, but just walking down the neighborhood blocks, we have blocks where it's on one side of the street, but then you have the whole entire block that it's darkened, and then you won't have another light until you get to the intersection of another street. It's before you, it's before me as well, so I just wanted a little explanation.
So it's, you remember a couple of months ago when we started talking, when I brought this to the commission, I explained there was phase 1 and phase 2. Now, phase 1 had a small component, which I had the opportunity to explain to Commissioner Taylor, which were the 10 units, the 10 that came prior, the last board commission meeting. Those had a cost to the town. It was just like $6,000 roughly, rounded it up. And those are the 10 lights that most likely are in Silver Beach Road. Now, this first phase, which is the main first phase, is for 154 light fixtures that is at no cost for the town, out of pocket right now. It's just going to require a monthly increase on our bill. That's it. So FPL is willing to put these additional light fixtures on these existing poles. Now, the second phase, which will address your concern, will require the town to upfront some financial funds, because it will require additional infrastructure, whether it is conduits for the light or new poles. But that phase will entail 360 something, don't quote me, light fixtures. So that will address your main concern. That's the second phase. So that one, we're still working with the consultant, because then we have to develop a priority list and sit down with FPO so they could tell us how much the town will need to invest on that phase, on the second phase. That's why we wanted to address the one that we did not have to create an investment, just in maintenance, and then address the one that we had to invest.
And then, of course, there was that question on what is the cost like to the town. So these 150-something we're just going to be paying the wattage, the usage?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so that's just for that.
Yes.
So phase two, after we get a plan from the consultant, we would then prioritize where those lights will go, and then we will be paying both for the cost of the infrastructure and for the wattage.
Part of the infrastructure. So FPL will tell us, once we have our priority list, we'll work with FPL, and the FPL will inform how much within the entire investment the town is a portion of the town. And at that point, we'll come to the commission, we'll tell commissioners, for us to move forward in second phase, this is how much FPL will require from the town as part of the investment to incorporate those 300 and such light in the town.
Okay, and so now, with the current lights, or excuse me, with the current infrastructure that we have, this would be to install lights on them, right? So if you had a pole that needed to be replaced, there would be a part of this? Like
Yes.
if you had...
Yes, if it's already there and they need to replace their pole, that's on them. They'll replace the pole and they'll put the light fixture.
Okay.
Typically, what they're trying to do is where there is deficiencies of light, but we have a pole, they're willing to install a light fixture to
On that.
provide us, yes,
Okay.
at no cost, just the monthly rate.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Commissioner Hensley.
Thank you. Hey, Jamie, I was just thinking, I've been kind of studying this project since I had received the plan a few months back, and I think threw me off a little bit. The numbers have changed from 159 to 156 to, different, we're probably off the little numbers. But I think I'm more concerned about the location of where the lights are going. So the lights are not really going in residential areas, the first phase one. Phase two, however, can go probably in residential areas. First, I have a question. Who chose where the lights was going? Was it Lake Park or FPNL?
No, our consultant, Kimberly Horns, did this study. Based on the study, they identified the areas of need. Then we met with FPO, and FPO identified that within the needs, there were some that we can address at no cost, so that we did that package, and then the others that will require us to have an investment, then we say, stop those, let's concentrate on these that don't require investment, and then we'll work on the priority of these so we could sit down with FPL, and FPL will let us know how much the town would need to upfront for that investment.
Okay. I appreciate phase one is not costing us too much out of pocket, but it still does not stop the problem from the residents. I actually had a walk with a resident at night that has been talking about lights, and it's still dark. So is there a way, if we go with phase two, we can involve some kind of survey from the residents on what they would like lighting to be, where they would like to see some lighting in the neighborhood that they live, they play, they sleep, and not just FPNL where they just work? Is that a way that we can kind of do some kind of survey where we can involve some residents' input on where some of the lights may be able to go?
Absolutely, absolutely. As we develop the priority list, we can go through a survey, we have the priority list, and then we could have the input from the citizens.
Thank you.
I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I think we did give some
Survey.
priority areas before. I'm not sure if you were here yet or not, but I believe we did.
I think they're part of the study.
Yeah, because I know Bayberry is one that I'm looking at. Bayberry and Silver Beach. It's extremely dark there. So I believe we did, but it would be good to get more feedback. So anything else, Commissioner Hensley?
That's all.
Okay.
Yes,
Taylor?
I just wanted to reiterate that this is kind of a hot topic. Now, we went through this twice, because we went through this before, I remember, 2 or 3 times, I think. But anyway, when you're making your priority list, is that a list? I mean, I don't think we budgeted it for this year, did we? So we have to make sure we jump on this and put it at the top of our budget priority list if there's nothing more we can do this year. Also, have you looked into, or you know about solar lighting for little dark spots? You know, it's not so expensive anymore for these standalone solar lights, solar-powered lights. You wouldn't have to worry about increasing the bill or for a power and light.
So that means you're suggesting for us to incorporate our own poles and light? Because
No,
right
they
now,
come with a pole. I think they come with their pole.
okay, so right now, we're working with FPL infrastructure. So if we want to go, we could go independent. The town could have their own poles, and I've spoken with Robert. He says, if the town has the appetite to have their own poles, they can install your own poles, but then you have to maintain your own poles and do such.
Yeah.
With this situation, FPL is going to do the infrastructure, and they take care of the maintenance.
Okay.
If they have to replace it, they have to repair it, they do all that. We only pay the
No, we
usage.
can't take on, I wouldn't like to see the town take on any more burden than they have. Sometimes I think they have too much now that they can't handle. But, okay, I just thought if you had a little dark spot, maybe residents could do it on their own. You can buy them. I saw an advertisement for one. It really wasn't that expensive. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Vice Mayor?
To that point, Palm Springs used CDBG money to buy solar lights to light up streets that it was going to be cost prohibitive to extend the power line under the roadway or even over the roadway. So we installed 30, 40 solar lights on 2 different roadways. So I heard all your comments. I'll just say that I'm more a proponent of dark skies, and especially in residential area. I don't want lights shining on my yard and my windows, so don't put a light on my street.
Make a note of that. Make it
Well noted.
Special request.
I did see on the map there's one of mine, though. Very close to my home, like extremely.
So you don't want it? You want it?
No, I mean, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. All right, so any other questions? Again, this is only regarding phase 1, so let's entertain a motion.
I make a motion to approve item number 8 in
Okay.
regards to the agreement with FPL.
Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a first and a second. Any other further discussion? Seeing and hearing none, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, resolution passes. Resolution 9, Resolution 105-1124, authorizing and directing the mayor to execute an agreement amendment with the State of Florida Department of Environmental Protection for the protection for a performance period of time extension for preparation of flooding and sea level rise vulnerability assessment report. Commissioner Thomas.
Yeah, it did, I don't know. Who am I talking to? Okay. I thought it was John Willie's position, but anyway, Jamie, I think it's Jamie's, yeah. This is item number 9 in regards to the vulnerability assessment, I think, report. When I looked through the agenda item, our position is that we're taking advantage of the extension, but there is nothing in here to say how long the extension was. All that I saw in the agreement was that March 21st of 2024, I guess, was the effective date, okay? We were given an extension in order to come up with, updating our assessment report. But there isn't anything in here to say what that extension is, if it was 6 months, if it's 12 months. So I don't know, and I don't know, what I don't know is that I don't know if we're going to be timely with the update, because we were a little behind anyway, and so we were just taking advantage of that. But where are we on this, and when is the date for the extension?
So since I don't have that information, could we pull it and then I'll bring it up on the 18th with the correct information?
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's it? Any other questions?
No.
Any other questions from the dais? No. All right, no questions. I'll entertain a motion.
To pull it?
A motion to adopt Resolution 105-11-24, authorizing and directing the
Pulling
mayor
it.
to
We're
Hold on,
execute
hold
an
on, hold on, hold on,
agreement.
hold
pulling
on.
it.
We're pulling it?
Yeah, we're pulling
Okay.
105.
All right, so we're pulling item
Oh, I
number
thought
9.
we was doing
My
that.
apologies.
No, no, we're
So-
pulling it.
So we're going to go ahead and pull that one out.
Yeah.
And,
I tried.
It's 106 now, so we're gonna.
right, I got you. Next, we have Resolution 106-1124. Town Commission deems it necessary and advisable to amend the budget for the town of Lake Park for fiscal year 2023-24, which was adopted by resolution number 020124.
Okay. When I looked at this, and I did get a chance to talk to our finance director, but I just wanted to be clear on the record, because when I read the staff report, it didn't necessarily explain why the adjustment was being made, but in speaking with our finance director, I understood, because as I added up the dollars, it showed that there was like a decrease in the revenue of like 3.3, but in speaking 3.3 million. But when I spoke to our finance director, what I understood it as being is that there were some areas where there was deficiencies or negatives, and we were already budgeted for it, and so the idea was to ensure that those areas that were negative and we had surplus was to fill those holes. And I just want to confirm on the record that that's what it is. It's not that our budget wasn't balanced, but to just either confirm or state no what I stated.
And that is correct, Commissioner.
Okay.
We just have to represent that the authorized expenditures don't exceed our anticipated appropriations during the course of the year.
Okay.
So, and then this ends up in the year-end audit in the ACFR. So we do it by detailed line item. Even though they only require it on the fund level, we do it on a detailed line item, because when you look at the annual report at the end of the year, the budgetary comparison schedules that we have on there break it down by line item.
Okay.
So when that's issued next summer, you won't see those variances then.
So in essence, this was really a housekeeping item
To a certain
that we
extent,
were
yes.
like doing?
Yes.
So the budget was balanced, we just wanted to ensure that when we got the audit would be consistent with the funds that we were there, and to ensure that there were no departments or areas that weren't paid. They were all paid and they were all
And
balanced.
legally, we're not supposed to be budgeting in excess of our appropriations.
Okay.
So,
That-
and we should be doing this, the amount, the dollar levels were a little higher. My understanding is we didn't do one at mid-year, so we should do two.
Mm-hmm.
Not only a final year adjustment, but a mid-year adjustment as well.
And that is like to correct, just to ensure that we are,
For sure, so we would be doing this exercise again, so we could say, hey, we're in line with our budget at this point in time.
okay. That's what I needed like to know. Because I was like, what does that mean? You know, why is there a decrease in the revenue? Does that mean we didn't get the money? But we did. Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Any other questions? No? All right. I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion to approve Resolution 106-1124.
Do we have a second?
Second?
We have a first and a second. Any other further discussion? Seeing, hearing none, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Nay.
Okay. 4-1, resolution passes.
Thanks.
All right, next we have a board member nomination, a reappointment for Jillian Kennedy Wright to the tree board. I believe Commissioner Taylor was the one that made the motion for that. And, Town Manager, do we have anything?
You want to present this item? Okay. So I think all we need is actually a second.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
All right, any other further discussion? Seeing, hearing none, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Congratulations to Jillian. All right, we have nothing on the quasi-judicial public hearing. However, we do have ordinance on first reading, and ordinance 13, 2024, creating a new section 30-6 pertaining to the operation of micromobility devices, golf carts, low-speed vehicles, and motorized scooters. Town Manager.
Our planner will present this item.
Good evening, Commissioners. I'm Andres Bayan, Town Planner. Tonight, I've brought back the low-speed vehicle golf cart micromobility ordinance. So this, at your last meeting, you had a discussion item on this, requesting that it be brought back. So it's coming back to you on first reading. Last time it was before you, since no action was taken, the item was not carried forward to a additional meeting on second reading. Again, it was continued twice, and then that was the second continuance. And so at that meeting, it expired, so it's coming back to you on first reading. The content is the same as it was on the last meeting, as it was brought before you. I think you all kind of are familiar with the ordinance, and so I'm here to answer any questions you may have on it. One thing, I've already received some feedback from some of you regarding some changes you'd like to see. I'll just say, kind of pertaining to that language, I'll explain why it was like that. It was it's set up in such a way where if state law changes, it can remain applicable. However, we can certainly tighten it up. This is the portion that pertains to the insurance requirements and registration
That's the one I
requirements.
have a question on, yep.
You have a question on that? Okay.
Yep, that's the one that I definitely have a question on. Because I did, I don't know, are you finished talking?
I'll turn it over to questions if you have questions.
Sorry.
All right, Commissioner Thomas, go ahead.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, I had it, I looked at the statutes, okay, in regards to the golf carts. And I looked at it in regards to the licensing. It definitely stated that let's go here. Okay, it definitely stated that a person 18 years or older must be licensed in order to operate the vehicle. So in essence, anyone who is younger than 18 is not allowed. It says a golf cart may be operated on public roads or street by a person, who is under 18 years of age unless he or she possesses a valid learner's license. So in essence, the person could operate it if they're 16, or is it 16 that they get their learner's permit? Mm-hmm. I think it's 16. So as long as they have a learner's permit at 16, they can operate it. But anyone younger than that without a learner's permit are not allowed, based on the statutes here. It says who is also 18 years and older who possess a valid form of governmental issued identification. These are individuals who can operate it. Then I had a concern regarding Section 5 of our ordinance. Our ordinance stated in Section 5 that there is the licensorship, okay? Although in Florida statutes, it does not require it for golf carts, and it was very specific about it. It didn't require it. It required that it had headlights, that it had brakes, that it had seatbelt, that it had indicators, and that, but that's it. The only thing that I know that has a VIN number would be a low-speed vehicle, but it had no requirements for a golf cart. And we already mentioned earlier, well, in our previous meetings, that we would allow golf carts on all town roads. So my concern is the fact that we have it in our ordinance to go and have it licensed for a golf cart, and it's not a requirement here. Now, I do know we could be more restrictive, but this is a golf cart and not a low-speed vehicle.
Understood. So I think I'm hearing that we're going to strike the last sentence under 5 and make it specific to low-speed vehicles only and not have any kind of coverage for golf carts potentially.
Yeah, because we did agree. I mean, what I heard the consensus was is that we definitely wanted to make sure it had all of the safety features. But the concern was the licensingship of it because of the miles per hour that golf carts go as opposed to the other one. Now, I would say someone mentioned that, oh, if you put 5 or 6 batteries or 10 batteries in, it'll go faster. Well, you'll also need the capacity too for it in order for you to have all of that. Then, of course, it changes it. It's no longer a it's no longer a golf cart. It's now, you have now hyped it up for it to be a low-speed vehicle. And it's pretty much in here too. The Florida statute states, if it's more than, 25 miles an hour, that's be considered a low-speed vehicle. So I just wanted to tighten that up.
You want to look at mine?
Thank you.
Okay, Vice Mayor.
I had emailed staff earlier this morning on paragraph 5, in that last sentence, to remove golf carts and, so the last sentence reads, license, registration, and insurance requirements for low-speed vehicles must be in accordance with state law. To your point.
Thank you.
Okay.
And you were so succinct with that. I was just mumbling.
I think the main thing here is obviously about the golf carts. And I think what we're missing is we're allowed to designate what streets they're able to ride on.
Yes, so currently, we have it structured where it will be all of your streets that are 25 miles an hour.
Okay, but on that same token, do you have any streets that you're omitting?
Well,
Because for me, I'm talking in the sense of US 1, North Lake, Prosperity Farms Road, 10th Street, which is another road that would be a little heavy in traffic, Silver Beach, and then so that limits it right to from 10th Street. I would think they'd be able to cross at least US 1 to get to Lakeshore. Lakeshore should be a part of the residential streets, but not to turn into US 1 and now think you're on US 1 riding a golf cart.
Yes.
So I would think that would be needed to be put in language for the ordinance, because you just have to have something there, because there's always going to be that one that's going to make an attempt to do something that they shouldn't be doing, and that could cause a greater problem in the future. So I'd rather protect it now by having the actual language, since you're saying residential streets at 25 miles an hour, but still have also amendments to certain major roads.
well, so the way the language reads currently is it says golf carts may be operated within the town rights-of-way in accordance with the posted speed limit not exceeding 25 miles an hour. So I think I'm hearing that you'd like to maybe add in federal as well and just say federal is excluded, or, the major roadways are excluded, something to that effect.
Correct.
So it's explicit.
And again, we're talking federal, US 1, North Lake, Prosperity, 10th, Silver Beach.
Congress,
Well, I mean,
Water Tower.
correct. I mean, you could just pretty much say the industrial area if you're talking those streets.
Anything over 25 miles an hour?
Correct. And again, anything over 25 miles per hour.
Understood.
At least that's my 2 cents.
And just to confirm, we've designated all our local residential streets 25 miles per hour or lower.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes, the way it's currently written, that's what the effect it would have. It's not even specific to residential. It's just any street, 25 miles an hour.
But my question is, what is the speed limit on our local streets?
In your residential core, it's 25.
And outside of that is obviously more.
Yeah, I think 10th is like 35, Water Tower is 35. So, it's really your residential core is bounded by those 35, 45 mile an hour roads. So, really the effect of it is it's going to be in the residential core. Maybe they're going to cross Federal to get to Lakeshore Drive, but that would be it.
Okay. Commissioner Taylor, you have any questions?
No, I have a comment. What is
Okay,
it?
you have a comment? Okay, we'll get to
We're
that.
not telling.
I have a question and comment.
Okay, Commissioner Hensley. Now I get
This
your comment.
may be more of a law thing. I understand, I want to get back on the safety part of it, and just from my opinion, it's not any data. I don't believe that golf carts are pretty much a safety issue type thing. I think it's more of the students, kids, or with the motorbikes. So I was thinking if we can probably put something together, I don't know if we can get with CAP, and maybe put something together where we can educate safety for our residents, like the more of the younger kids, and why it's important to wear a helmet on those things. I mean, this is out of Lake Park, but we get a lot of those kids that drive those things to school now in middle school. So I can imagine what it's like. They're doing it around here, but I think if we kind of teach a little bit of safety about it, like using those, like how to stop at stop signs, because as the young lady was saying, this can end up tragedy if the kids don't know it. Now, golf carts, I'm pretty sure I see them all the time. They're going slow enough where people can wave and talk to you, so I don't have any issues about that. But I think those, I don't forget what they call them, but those little motorbikes, I think that's what they are.
Motorized scooters.
Yeah, we see a lot of kids around the neighborhood, but I figure if we educate them about safety about it, we do something, we can put something together like safety and just teach them a little about wearing a helmet, stopping at stop signs, looking both ways, that type of thing wouldn't hurt.
All set?
That's all I got to say about that.
Okay. All right. Huh?
Just a question, because we need to get up out of this.
Okay, Commissioner Thomas.
And
I still have a public comment card also on that I want to have them come up.
The only thing that I want to know is, do we have to post signs throughout our town to say golf carts allowed? Because the state statute states that it's left up to the local municipality to designate, of course, the roadways, and that they be marked as that, golf cart could travel on them. So I am wondering if we have to go and post signs on our local roads before we actually allow for the effective date of this ordinance when it comes back.
Understood. I certainly think for the multimodal paths, I know we discussed that in the past, those I believe do need signage that's explicit, that says you can operate it on that 8-foot sidewalk multimodal path.
Right.
As for the roads, that was not my understanding of the ordinance. However, we can review that again and just ensure
Okay.
that is not a requirement.
Because I just want that to be clear, because too, our law enforcement will, of course, need to be aware of whether or not they can issue citations, et cetera. So, okay, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah. I have one request that we've had Evelyn and James, and now about the mobility thing. I think I would like an agenda item set up for January. I'd like to request it now so that, we don't get, I think it's important enough that we bring it all back up in January with the mobility plan. I live on Park Avenue, and I see these motorized scooters and all kind of motorized things on and off the sidewalk. One instance, there was a family with a stroller, with a dog, with a little girl by hand, and she, with her mom and dad, a bicycle came whizzing down the street, and a couple minutes afterwards, so my friend left my porch, went down, he said, I want to see who pulled over. Well, guess who had to pull over? The family. We really need to look at some kind of bike lanes, and so it's all involved with the mobility plan, so I just want to make sure that we can address that perhaps in January. I don't know whether, I'm probably addressing this more to Bambi to put it on the agenda than you, Anders, I'm sorry, okay?
All right, so we'll
Thank
make
you.
sure, make a note of that for January.
We'll make
and we'll
that
put that on the
happen.
agenda. Okay, thank you, Commissioner Taylor. I have a public comment card for Patricia LeDuc on this certain item. Please come up, Ms. LeDuc.
Good evening, Patricia LeDuc, 409 2nd Street. And some of the comments that the commissioners have made was a similar comment that I was going to make regarding the 30-6 B5. The golf cart is not a low-speed vehicle, and I agree with Vice Mayor Kim Kim, that the word golf cart and should be removed, because if you were to take a golf cart and try to convert it to a low-speed vehicle, that would be what would be required, because you need to have a VIN number and you need to have that golf cart registration converted from a serial number to a VIN number. And I have a personal experience with that. My husband and I tried to do that with our golf cart, and it's a lot, there's like 15,000 pages. You have to take it to have it weighed. You have to have all of the safety equipment done. You have to take it to the DMV. You have to take it to 45th Street to the Florida Highway Safety. So I just want it to be clear that it's not just we want to make it so that golf carts can, legally drive without registration and insurance, but the undue burden that it would cause all of the residents that do have golf carts if they have to try to go through this. We did go through that. We got the title. It cost a lot of money. We registered it. We got insurance on it, and then we got a letter from the state of Florida that my husband's driver's license was going to be suspended because our insurance carrier, Liberty Mutual, doesn't insure golf carts. We went with Progressive. They didn't join together. They didn't recognize the serial number transferred to a VIN number. So I just want to give you some kind of a background on how that would be almost impossible for the average resident here to go through all of the steps that would be required. And Florida statute 3316212 does address the age requirements, the licensing requirements. Even if you're crossing, say we're crossing from, Park Avenue across US Highway 1, there are statutes that, it's covered in 316212. So I can understand, Mayor Mashad wanting to add some of the main roads as an exclusion. I've seen other communities do that as well, and I think that that's a good thing. But addressing the kids driving, that is a Florida statute that they're not allowed to drive unless they have a learner permit, and it is at 15. So they are going to get a ticket, and however, if they're speeding, that's what the officers are going to still be able to enforce those statutes. It's not going to waive any of those statutes. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so Anders, you pretty much got a good amount of feedback to work off of, and I'm glad that we got through it this time without any heightened delays. So, with that, I will entertain a motion.
I make a motion to approve ordinance 13-24.
Second. We have a first and a second. Any other further discussion? Seeing, hearing none, those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Ordinance passes.
Ordinance 13, 2024. An ordinance of the Town Commission in Town of Lake Park, Florida, amending Chapter 30, Article 1 to create a new Section 30-6 pertaining to the operation of micro-mobility devices, golf carts, low-speed vehicles, and motorized scooters, providing for the amendment of Chapter 30, Article 2, Section 30-35 pertaining to high-capacity passenger or work vans, providing for severability, providing for codification, providing for the repeal of all laws in conflict, and providing for an effective date.
All right, thank you. Next, we have ordinance on second reading. We have ordinance 11-2024, amending the mural code. Town manager.
Anders will present this item as well.
Good evening again. Anders Vian, Town Planner. All right, so this ordinance is the mural ordinance on second reading. So this had come before you previously, and you didn't have any comments on it. So it's come back in the same state. I'll briefly just go over again what it will be doing. So it's going to eliminate the previous requirement that murals could not be in place for longer than 5 years and allow them to be in place for longer than 5 years as long as they're maintained exactly as approved. If they need to touch them up, then they'll come in for an administrative zoning review permit to do that, and we'll verify that they're restoring it to as it was approved. The mural size will be increased from 80% of a wall to 100% of a wall. And we also added in some language that would allow these to be outside the CRA, or rather we struck language saying that they could only be in the CRA. So that is what we've brought forward tonight, and if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
All right, is there any questions for staff? Nope. Well, I'll entertain a motion.
I motion to approve ordinance 11-24. 224.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
We have a first and a second. Any other further discussion? Seeing, hearing none, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, ordinance passes. Town Attorney.
Ordinance 11, 2024, an ordinance of the Town Commission of the Town of Lake Park, Florida, amending Chapter 71 of the Town Code entitled Murals, providing for the amendment of Section 71.1 intent, providing for the amendment of Section 7142 duration, providing for the amendment of Section 7183 minimum mural permit criteria, providing for severability, providing for the repeal of laws in conflict, providing for codification, and providing for an effective date.
Okay. Next, we have ordinance 12, 2024, amending Chapter 60 pertaining to floodplain management standards.
Our Community Development Director will present this item.
Good evening, Nadia Di Tommaso, Community Development Director. This ordinance is being presented on second reading. It was approved unanimously on first reading. If the commission does have any questions, I am available for any questions. And of course, this ordinance aims to meet new FEMA standards on the floodplain management requirements per their mandate to us, and it also reflects the new updated map date of December 20th. And to Commissioner Thomas's point, we will include the maps with the minutes for this agenda item. Staff is recommending adoption of this ordinance. Thank you.
Okay. And I'd like to apologize ahead of time. I splashed some water. We have a flooding problem over here.
It's appropriate.
And minor problem, minor flooding.
Appropriate. It's appropriate.
Okay. But do we have any questions on this item?
What are we doing now?
All right. Do we have any questions on this
Which one?
item?
Which one? We're good.
It's
Okay.
ordinance 12-2024.
Okay, if not, we'll entertain a motion.
I motion we accept ordinance 12, 2024, amending Chapter 60 pertaining to floodplain management standards.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
We have first and second. Any other further discussion? Seeing, hearing none, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, ordinance passes. Town Attorney?
Ordinance 12, 2024, an ordinance of the Town Commission of the Town of Lake Park, amending Chapter 60 of the Lake Park Code of Ordinances pertaining to floodplain management standards, providing for codification, providing for severability, providing for the repeal of laws in conflict, and providing for an effective date.
Okay, thank you. We have nothing under old business. However, we have items under new business. Item number 15, Resolution 107-1124, approving the collective bargaining agreement for the period of October 1st, 2024 to September 30th, 2027. Town Manager.
Thank you. In June of 2024, union representatives contacted the town and initiated the negotiation of a new collective bargaining agreement, the agreement between the union and the town, since the then current collective bargaining agreement between Town Lake Park and the Federation of Public Employees, Division of National Federation of Public and Private Employees, AFL-CIO, was due to expire and did expire on September 30th, 2024. Such agreement was collectively bargained with the union, and a tentative agreement was reached between management and labor. A copy of the tentative agreement is attached in red line format as part of your agenda packet for ease of reference. On November 14, 2024, a majority of the bargaining unit members of the union voted to ratify the proposed agreement. A copy of the new agreement in final format is also part of your packet, as well as a copy of the letter from the union documenting such ratification. The purpose of this agenda item is the approval of the agreement by resolution of the Town Commission. Staff recommends approval.
Okay. So this was something we discussed, and not much is needed as far as discussion. If there's any other questions or last-minute questions, please say now. Otherwise, I'll entertain a motion.
The recommended motion is approval of Resolution 107-1124, approving the collective bargaining agreement between Town Lake Park and the Federation of Public Employees, Division of National Federation of Public and Private Employees, AFL-CIO, for the period of October 1, 2024 to September 30, 2027, and authorizing the mayor and interim town manager to execute such agreement.
Okay. Whoever wants to make that motion, just say so moved, and we'll keep it going.
So move.
Second.
Second.
We have a first and a second. Any other further discussion? Seeing, hearing none, those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Resolution passes. Next, we have Resolution 108-1124, declaring zoning in progress for properties located in the Park Avenue Downtown District. Town Manager.
I will refer to the town attorney on this item.
Okay. Sir.
Thank you, Mayor. The commission directed to bring back a resolution on zoning in progress. There's a memorandum contained in your agenda packet dated November 14, 2024, that gives an explanation for some of the reasons why that zoning in progress would be implemented, and also explaining some of the areas of study that would have to occur during that period of time. In the past, most town town resolutions adopting zoning in progress have been for a year. For example, the Affordable Housing Zoning in Progress Resolution, which was actually extended. This one is for 6 months. I think the issues are fairly confined, but one of the issues that is, I suppose, of concern to all of the property owners is in the PADD is that if two property owners take up all the units and all the capacity, then the rest of the property owners are left with properties that are not quite as valuable as they might be able to achieve under the existing comprehensive plan. Just as an example, the memorandum explains that there's an average density of 48 units an acre, average density for properties in the PADD. The two projects that have been submitted to the town were to develop at their densities of more than 200 units per acre. The other properties would be left with 15 units per acre on their properties. So it's really an attempt to study the overall policies that were adopted and make sure that there's fair property rights for all.
Okay, just so I can ask you a quick question, considering these two projects are one that's moved forward through planning and zoning, and the other one that's, I guess, in process of going into staff, and the concerns they may have for this zoning in progress, would there be any concerns for any legalities?
As the memorandum explains, those properties can develop at their existing densities without waivers at 48 units, average 48 units an acre. They would have, in all likelihood, depending on how much commercial usage they have, they would have available equivalency units, which is essentially wastewater flow for all of those units. So no, developers have no right to have an expectation to increase densities, certainly not based on waivers. So, I mean, my feeling is that in terms of property rights, they can develop at the existing density if that's what they want to do. If they're not going to go that route, then the projects would be reviewed. They would be reviewed in terms of existing policies of the comprehensive plan. From my perspective, as I've written and spoken before, I don't think the densities that are being proposed or the height that's being proposed in the PADD by those two projects is consistent with policies of the comprehensive plan. If it's not consistent with policies of the comprehensive plan, then Florida law provides that the commission should deny the projects.
Okay. Any other questions? Commissioner Hensley?
So would it be litigation if we?
Litigation's up to the developers, not the town. At this point, there's nothing to litigate. There are no approvals. No approvals have been taken away. One of them has not even been determined to have a complete application. The other one was rushed through the P&Z. After it went through P&Z, it got under the microscope, and that's when issues started to develop and surface.
Anything else,
I mean,
Commissioner Hensley?
this is, of course, I want more information on this, but no, go ahead.
Vice Mayor.
When are we going to workshop the PADD again? Because we had some questions, wanted some additional information.
Nadia, do you have that information? We haven't set a date yet.
So by the time that
Right.
workshop comes up, this 6 months may be almost over anyway.
Is this,
Commissioner
is
Thomas.
this something, I mean, our new town manager begins in January, right? Okay, so this zoning in progress becomes effective tonight for 6 months? So December, January, February, March, April, May. So by May the 20th would be the 6 months expiration on this, right? Unless it came earlier or if the town decides to extend it.
Correct.
Okay, I'm just reading what that is, right? Okay, so that means, February, we talked about having the Lake Shore done in February, I think we did, right? And then February, March, April, May, May. So that gives us only 3 more months unless we do it in February. Unless we do it in February or jump in the pot with our new town manager in January. Because then it'll give staff at least 4 months, 3 months to work on it and bring it back.
Well, I can tell you that I've been periodically, Mr. Reed and I have been speaking. He's aware of these issues. Doesn't have the depth of these issues as yet, but I did provide him with the workshop materials. And, I expect that we would probably have a follow-up call next week sometime. But as you know, he's still working full-time, so our calls are limited to evenings and weekends, which I'm happy to do. But he and I, several major topics that are going on in the town that he needs to be briefed on in terms of what's been happening. And
I would
trying to do so, but
I would also like to know his input on this coming into a job that he's going to be pretty much judge on what he's doing and his decisions. I would like to know his input on it.
Okay.
So then can we come up with a date?
can you come up
I
with
think
a...
what she's saying is, can we designate the
At
months?
least, yeah, like at least a month or something like that so that we can get some.
My suggestion would be to let staff identify some dates that are appropriate for the workshop and come back to those with you at your next meeting.
So we won't have another meeting until the end of December, because we don't have one.
Correct, we have one.
We only have one in December, and then we're only going to have
One in January.
one in January. Those are the two.
Correct.
Well, dates can be circulated to you, and you can confirm whether or not those dates work for you, and then the meeting can be established. But, you don't have to have a meeting to pick a date to have a meeting.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Commissioner Taylor, anything?
No.
No? Vice Mayor, you got anything to add?
Well, just when we were talking about taking a step back and making sure we have all the information and that there's adequate capacity for all the projects, we talked about not only sanitary sewer, but also traffic concerns.
Absolutely.
So while this ordinance highlights the issues with sewer,
And density, it doesn't talk about traffic.
we also have concerns with local traffic and what the operational impacts will be to our residents at traffic lights and making maneuvers. And so I think there's more we want investigated during this
And I think
period also.
I also think to add to what you're stating now is that there was also the concern with that corner. There's also the fire department, which is right there as well, which ties into the
And the
traffic.
train track.
And the train track.
And the train tracks. So the question is, are we okay with the 6 months? If we are, then at this point, we would just make a motion.
I mean, it can be
Extend- oh, yeah.
It can be ended sooner
Right.
if all the information comes together.
Okay, so 6 months, we're just talking as a designation, doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be extended out that way.
I hope not.
Okay,
But, you know,
so, no cards at all?
And Attorney Beard, I just want to clarify that it is within the town's purview to do a zoning in progress. Yes? Okay.
Thanks. I'll take the wet one. It's fair. Okay, so,
So staff will come back to us at our next meeting with some dates. Well, not necessarily dates, they could come back anytime between then, is what you're saying. But should they come back, it would be December, or meeting in December or prior to, with dates to workshop.
but that's not required for this. Okay. So then I will entertain a motion.
I move approval of Resolution 108-11-24.
Second?
Second?
We have first and a second. Any other further discussion? Seeing none, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Nay.
Resolution passes. Next, we have item number 17, updating the position titles and pay codes for general non-union town employees, town manager.
Yes, as you recall, this item was brought before you earlier in the year, and you advised staff to bring it back, put it on the committee agenda after the collective bargaining agreement has been approved. That has been established, and the purpose of this particular agenda item is to increase by 3% the minimum pay ranges and maximum pay ranges in the position title, job codes, and pay plan as part of your agenda item for non-union employees.
And again, just to clarify, this is just to change the minimum and maximum of each titled position,
Yes,
not to alter anybody's current salaries.
correct.
Just so we make that clear, no salaries will be altered, just the minimum and maximum of the titled positions.
Exactly.
The ranges is what you're
The
saying.
ranges,
ranges.
yes. Yes, we have to make that clear. Okay, any questions?
Yes, I'd like to know, maybe it'd be better to wait until the new town manager gets on and let him, be involved in it. I mean, he'll say okay, but at least he'll know where, what's going on. Without, just wait until he comes, and then all we have to do is put it back on just like that.
Vice Mayor?
I hear what you're saying. To me, this is just,
It is.
what am I trying to say?
Housekeeping.
It's housekeeping.
Housekeeping.
Yeah. And just so you understand, to Mr. Taylor, this is also being done at the county level as well.
Okay.
Okay? So,
And it's
I know that.
These are all
being-
county level, they're all the same then?
No, not necessarily. This deals with this municipality. I'm just letting you know that as a county worker myself, this is also,
Okay.
And at the school board.
and at the school board.
Okay.
So all three are being done.
All right.
And as Vice Mayor explained, this is housekeeping. So,
Good.
okay?
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Nobody's getting a pay raise, right?
No.
I'm joking.
Okay. I will entertain the motion.
I entertain the motion to pass, I lost it.
That's item number 17.
Item number 17 on the agenda.
Okay, we have a second?
Second.
We have first and a second. Any other further discussion? Seeing, hearing none, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Passes. Item 18, expansion of the existing Town of Lake Park Community Development Block Grant, CDBG, target areas. Town Manager.
Yes, the town has received notification from the Palm Beach County Department of Housing and Economic Development, DHED, that their department has commenced the preparation of the 5-year consolidated plan, which is a requirement to receive certain funds from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. The 5-year comprehensive plan requires, among other things, the identification of geographic areas, which are known as target areas, in which expenditure of CDBG funding may be concentrated. A CDBG area qualifies a municipality for annual share of CDBG funding through the Palm Beach County and local entitlement process. As part of this process, the town of Lake Park now has the opportunity to create a new target area or to recertify the existing one, and must submit data to support the area's designation as a target area, which must meet all of the following CDBG criteria. At least 51% of the residents must be of low or moderate incomes. Land must be at least 51% residential. Be one contiguous geographic area, no less than 0.5 square mile and no more than 2.0 square miles in size. Bounded by naturally occurring or man-made features, municipal boundaries, canals, roadways, etc., to demarcate the target area, and the area must exhibit visible signs of deterioration or underdevelopment, such as substandard housing, inadequate infrastructure, water, sewer, streets, and so forth. Substandard housing is defined as residential structures with code violations or existing visible signs of deterioration or deferred maintenance, structural damage, or collapse. DHED provided the town with a map which delineates the town's existing CDBG area, and a copy of that letter with the map is part of your agenda packet. Staff has reviewed the map and has determined that there is an opportunity to include additional residential areas. See the proposed CDBG target area map, which is the last item in this agenda packet. The proposed map meets all of the above criteria for designation of a CDBG target area, and staff recommends that the town's existing CDBG target area be expanded to include such areas. And the county has accepted the town's proposal.
Okay. So, any questions, please ask. Otherwise, we will entertain a motion. Mr. Thomas?
Okay, the only question that I have is that the proposed target area is all of the residential area between North Lake, Silver Beach, the railroad track, and US 1.
Nadia, can you answer that question?
Because before we had a little squirrely area that was not a part of it, and now it looks like the whole entire residential area is now all part of it.
Yes, per the map that was included with the agenda packet that.
Right, that says the
yes.
proposed target area, right?
That is the proposed target
Okay, yeah.
area, yes.
Yeah. And I'm going to say, this makes a lot more sense. It looked as, the other one looked like it was being, gerrymandered, You had this little squiggly area that was out. It was like, why is that out? Okay, so now it's just really the entire residential area.
Yes, and we had considered
somehow-
extending it even further east and to fully include all of the residential areas. However, that exceeded the 2.0 square miles, and therefore we had to stop it at the US 1.
Okay. Okay. And then it looked as though it included the park.
Correct.
That's it. Okay. Okay. Here's our lighting money. Right? Okay.
Not a far-fetched statement.
I mean, I'm thinking.
Okay. Any other questions? I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion to approve item number 18.
Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a first and a second. Any other further discussion? Seeing, hearing none, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, item number 18 passes. Item number 19, approval of the settlement agreement between the Town of Lake Park and Igor Olivia de Almeida and Natasha Aline Cuiza.
Town Attorney.
Town Attorney.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. This is the agreement that was negotiated as part of the mediation that was ongoing. It took longer than it should have, but ultimately the town is in a position where it avoids the costs of litigation, both the costs that would occur for preparing for a trial and also the cost of, in the event of an adverse judgment, the cost of the attorney fees from opposing counsel. The trial or the case itself was probably at a 50-50 opportunity to win. And when that's the case, generally finding a reasonable settlement is the best solution, and that's what came out of the mediation. The mayor was the representative of the town in that mediation, which was very helpful to us. And I recommend you authorize the mayor to execute the settlement agreement and mutual release.
Okay. So if we have any questions in regards to this for the town attorney, please go ahead and do so. If not, we'll entertain a motion.
I'll say we accept approval of the item number 19, approval of the settlement agreement between the town of Lake Park and Igor and Natasha.
Do we have a second?
Second, I have a question. So,
You
if I
have a
may.
question?
Yeah. But I wanted to second it.
All right.
If they don't get a CO by August 8th, then what?
Then we sue them.
I think that's straightforward. All right. We have a first and a second. Any other further discussion? Seeing, hearing none, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed?
Nay.
Item 19 passes 4-1. Town attorney comments.
Two for you. One, the town's magistrate, Mr. Nicoletti, is going to be out of town for a couple of months. And in his place, he has recommended that the commission appoint as his substitute magistrate Gemma Torsivia. Some of you may know, I know the vice mayor does, Glenn Torsivia. Gemma is Glenn's daughter. She has experience in local government and city law and would serve the town well. So I'm looking for a motion to approve Gemma Torsivia as the alternate magistrate, code magistrate.
Okay, do we have a motion?
So move.
Second?
Second.
We have first and second. Any other further discussion? Seeing hearing none, those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed?
My second comment, and I would encourage the town manager to let the Planning and Zoning Commission know, I'm going to be one of the instructors at the planning officials workshop this Friday, and the workshop, it begins at 8 o'clock. It's at the Town of Jupiter's Community Center, which is in the rear of the property. And my topic is basically planning law, which covers things like quasi-judicial hearings and other things.
But the good session is immediately after his, and I am moderating that session.
Okay, so.
And so the session that the vice mayor has is right before lunch, so it's not likely that that will go over well.
Okay, is this one that we attended before?
You did.
Yeah, I remember coming
And
to it.
you may recall how exciting it was.
Yeah, it was quite exuberating to be listening. And so, all right. Any other comments?
I'll call in sick.
All right.
It's Friday. Friday.
Yes.
Thankfully not the 13th.
Okay. Town manager.
Yes. As you all know, starting tonight, our commission meetings will be live streamed on our YouTube channel in addition to our website. The YouTube channel can be found at www.youtube.com/Town of Lake Park, Florida. Don't forget to bookmark this page for easy access and subscribe to our channel to get notifications about upcoming meetings. Information from community development, accessory dwelling units. The staff drafted an ADU ordinance. However, due to some pending litigation, the town attorney advised staff this should not move forward. until a settlement agreement is reached on the lawsuit. The town attorney will then wrap up his review of the ordinance and staff will bring it forward. The intent was also to give the new town manager an opportunity to review the proposed ordinance as well. We anticipate the ordinance should be able to move forward to the town commission in early 2025. The Avalon Bay North Lake Promenade project in the Publix Plaza, recently approved by the town, is currently in permitting. They intend on breaking ground in the first quarter of 2025, and the project will take approximately 2 years to complete. Also, tenant build-outs continue for the various newer office warehouse buildings. New businesses that complete their registration process are identified on a monthly basis in the Community Development Department monthly reports provided to the Town Commission, along with additional points of interest for the department. Some additional tenant build-outs include 3 units on the ground floor of 801 Park Avenue, or 1 Park Place, a florist, a contractor, business office, and showroom, and a hair salon. When the new town manager comes aboard, a development process update presentation will be provided to the Town Commission as well. Palm Beach County is working through a revised Lake Park scrub area plan that will aim to incorporate a new parking lot area, recreational trails, and observation deck, along with other features. A prior town commission was concerned with placing a parking lot area on Silver Beach side of the scrub area, and this previously delayed the county's funding for improvement. The county explored options further and will provide their updates to the county commission at your January 15th, 2025 meeting. While the county will be explaining the reasoning as to why the parking lot is only feasible on the Silver Beach side, the county will also be presenting a definitive timeline for improvements to the scrub area that are long overdue. A public outreach meeting will also be held by the county after they have had an opportunity to present to the Town Commission on January 15th, 2025. New employee, we are pleased to announce that our new employee, Antonio Sturgis, who I believe is here.
He left.
He left. Okay. Well, he was here. Started as our new groundskeeper in the Public Works Department as of October 31st, 2024. I have some information regarding U.S. Military Academy appointments. Members of Congress, U.S. Congress, may nominate candidates for appointments to 4 of the 5 U.S. Service Academies. U.S. Military Academy, West Point, New York, U.S. Naval Academy in Annapolis, Maryland, U.S. Air Force Academy in Colorado Springs, Colorado, and the U.S. Merchant Marine Academy in Kings Point, New York. The Fisk Academy, U.S. Coast Guard Academy, does not require a congressional nomination for appointment. Nominations are made by a member of the U.S. House of Representatives who represent the congressional district in which the candidate resides, both U.S. senators or his or her state, and by application directly to the Vice President of the United States. I've been in contact with the aide to U.S. Congresswoman Sheila Sherfilis McCormick and obtained information on nomination process. The application is May 15th of each year for those candidates who are high school juniors and will be seniors the following year or have already graduated. Applicants must meet the following requirements as of July 1st of the year of admission to an academy. Age must be 17 years old but not have passed a 23rd birthday. Citizenship must be a U.S. citizen. Marital status must be unmarried, not pregnant, and without legal obligation to support children or other dependents. Residents must reside within the boundaries of the Congressional District of Florida, in our case, within Congresswoman Sheila Sherfilis McCormick's district. Skill fitness must meet the medical, physical, and academic requirements of the academy. Such appointment comes with the obligation to serve in the military for a minimum of 5 years, and I believe such education is free of charge. We will be disseminating more information to our residents regarding this around the first of the new year. Special events, holiday celebration. Join us for our annual holiday celebration on Friday, December 6th from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the Town Green. There will be live performances, free photos with Santa, and the official countdown to the lighting of the holiday tree, menorah, and kinara, and the holiday lights display on Park Avenue. Santa's Magical Sleigh Ride. On Friday, December 13th, Santa will travel through town on a holiday-themed fire truck. Residents and businesses are urged to be on the lookout for Santa from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Holiday Decorating Contest. Registration is open for the town's Holiday Decorating Contest through December 11th. Winners will be announced on December 20th. Santa's Holiday Mailbox. Drop off your letter to Santa and place it in the mailbox in the Lake Park Public Library from November 25th to December 20th. Don't forget to include your name and mailing address. For more information regarding special events and recreation programs, please contact the Special Events Department at 561-840-0160. We are seeking commission consensus on this item. The town has been approached by North Palm Beach Village manager Chuck Huff, seeking to utilize our boat ramp while they reconstruct their own boat ramp at Anchorage Park. We're seeking your approval to enter into an interlocal agreement with the Village of North Palm for their residents to use our boat ramp while their own boat ramp is under reconstruction. The reconstruction project is scheduled to begin in early January and be completed in March of 2025. We are proposing that we offer residents of North Palm who have a sticker for Anchorage Park the use of our ramp during the above period at no charge in exchange for allowing our residents the use of their boat ramp during our closure relocation of the Lake Park boat ramp. As information, the number of boat ramp stickers that exist is 225. They charge $60 for each sticker annually. Jason and I talked with Mr. Huff. Jason is okay with this proposal. January and March are the slowest revenue, of course, subject to commission approval. January and March are the slowest month for revenue at the Lake Park boat ramp for the entire year. January 2024 was $1,597 total revenue. February 2024, $1,802 total revenue. March 2024, $2,588.75 total revenue. Should the commission approve by consensus to enter into an interlocal agreement with the Village of North Palm, staff will bring back the interlocal agreement authorizing resolution at the December 18th commission meeting. This would not be the first time the town of Lake Park has partnered with interlocal agreement with the Village of North Palm Beach. Several years ago, when the town was having difficulty filling its library director position, the village, through an interlocal agreement, loaned the library director, their library director, through the town until we were able to fill our position. Additionally, in 2016, when the town was unable to fill its camp counselor position, we entered into an interlocal agreement to have our campers use the village's summer camp program that year. What is the commission's feeling on this?
Vice Mayor.
My question is, can we do that by our limitations of our grant agreement? When we renovated the marina, we wanted to offer our residents use of the boat ramps at no cost, and because we got fine money and maybe some other monies, we couldn't. We had to charge everyone the same rate. Mm-hmm. So can we allow one group of users not to pay a fee when everyone else has to pay a fee, even if there is an interlocal? I don't have a problem in concept, mm-hmm. but then right now our users paid $10, I think it is, for, mm-hmm. oh no, there's no fee for the ramp, it's the parking that's the fee. Mm-hmm. So what's our component of it? We launch the boat at their ramp, but is there room to park there? And is our residents, our users charged a parking fee?
At North Palm?
Mm-hmm.
That we'll have to check into. We'll check into that and get those questions
How
answered.
soon do they need an answer?
Well, their construction project begins in January. We can bring it back to the 18th.
Okay.
With those questions answered. And if those answers to the questions are satisfactory, we'll bring the interlocal agreement for adoption that night.
Yeah, I don't have a problem in concept.
Okay. All right.
I do have one question.
Go ahead.
I guess it's to our attorney. We're still working on our P3 agreement in regards to the marina, right? So how does that come in impact? Because I thought that we would be, I guess, our partner, our third-party partner, would be in control by March of 2025. I know we were waiting on some, reverter clause, but...
Yeah, well, the reverter clauses aren't, at this point, likely to be resolved by March. I mean, it really depends on the schedule of the governor and cabinet, but we just exchanged, well, I didn't, but Larry Zabik exchanged emails with the DEP representative, And in order for an agenda item to get on the governor and cabinet's agenda, they require the item be delivered 6 to 7 weeks in advance. We have some issues that have to be worked through. One is the Nautilus Sales Center is on restricted land. Two is there are 2 users within the marina that aren't, the department views as club member driven, Jet Ski and Freedom Boat Club, and those issues have to be resolved. How they're going to get resolved, we haven't gotten to that point yet. So basically the town's marina right now is status quo.
Okay. Yeah, that does raise a question. I mean, well, outside of that, it does raise a question too for parking, because right now we only have that small marina area for parking for us, because the area that's west, well, northwest of that isn't usable. So we only really have that little small area for parking. I guess it would be what, first come, first serve? I don't know, but we have no additional parking area if we go into the, not that it isn't a good thing, but to go into the agreement and not have sufficient capacity, for where they're going to be launching is a thought.
We'll get that resolved. We'll get that answered.
So I guess the question is, you're looking for a direction on whether or not to come back with this? Okay. Come back with answers or questions.
Okay, I'll bring answers back.
We already had that. Okay.
Okay. Thanksgiving week updates. As Town of Lake Park offices, including Lake Park Harbor Marina, will be closed on Thanksgiving Day, Thursday, November 28th. The marina will be open on Friday, November 29th, and sanitation service will resume. However, all other town offices will remain closed. The Lake Park Public Library will also be closed on Saturday, November 30th. Sanitation services for Thanksgiving week are as follows: Monday, November 25th, garbage cart and vegetation collection. Wednesday, November 27th, recycling cart collection. Thursday, November 28th, no residential or dumpster service, because Thanksgiving. Friday, November 29th, garbage cart and bulk trash collection. And that's all I have.
Okay. Any commissioner comments? I will start with you, Commissioner Hensley.
I just want to say, I hope you all enjoy your Thanksgiving. I'm very thankful to be working alongside of all you guys. You all do a great job. And I hope you eat a lot of turkey and feel very healthy afterwards.
Okay. Thank you. Commissioner Taylor.
Yes, I think this warrants a comment, so I kind of prepared it so I wouldn't go on and on. I noticed you were on TV, Mayor, and about the driveway thing is heating up, and it's gotten back to me from several sources that it is heating up, and people are very upset about it. So the gravel driveway code is what I'm speaking about. So I made a visit. I made a couple visits to some of the residents. But before I tell you about that, I'll tell you about my story. I was on the list, and I looked at my driveway, and I looked at the driveway next door that had been done, and it was very nice. So I said, well, instead of going on and on about it, it's a good deal. I'll just go ahead and I'll get my driveway done and get one of the 50-50 deals. And I got it. They're the 3 estimates. I paid for a survey, and the grant was approved, and I'm waiting for the contractor to obtain the permit and order the pavers. But that's my story. That's a different story than the one I heard today. I went to see a lady who's very upset, very upset. And it's a story about a strong, capable woman successfully taking care of her business, family, and home the very best she can. She painted her own house and has arranged for her window replacement. There's a lot more to her story, but the bottom line is she has lived in Lake Park for many years, pays her ever-increasing bills, taxes, insurance, etc., and through her license on, I can't read my writing, and through her license on-site daycare, contributes more than her share to society. She should qualify for a sizable grant to replace the driveway and that she cannot afford to pay for herself. I think she would. Her strong convictions and objections are signing the 5-year mortgage note on her most valuable asset, her home. Soon she'll have new storm windows, which are much more important to her than replacing her driveway. I get it, but she has strong convictions. So I don't know. I hope we can work something out, or she can, through my story, she can realize that this will benefit her a lot. So she's a very nice person. And I went to another place, and it was a renter, and his owner is replacing the driveway now. So that worked out well. I don't know how many have already taken initiative to do theirs. I hope it's several and cut down on the numbers. I know that Dale Jeffs, the gentleman that you was interviewed, he said it was a perfectly kept Chattahoochee driveway. It has always been perfectly kept the 30 years that I can remember him being here, and before that, I've been here 50 years. And I know the architectural assets to the community and their individuality should be appreciated. Of the other two driveways located on Park Avenue, they're a relief from other concrete parking lots visually. I know, I'm just asking tonight that possibly that I'm not asking for any changes or anything like that. I would just like to know more about continue the grant program for the residents, and maybe if we could just agree to revisit this issue next February and see where we stand with the number that need to be done, and maybe be a little, try. I'll try to promote it as much as I can because it's to their benefit. But some of their circumstances just don't match up with paying ahead of time. This woman, she has already got a quote on her driveway, but there's no way that she can pay. There's obstacles that I think could be worked out. Could we revisit this in next February and just see where we stand with it?
Some we could. We can, has she talked to staff?
Well, I don't know whether she has or not, but I know she was so upset that she was really angry when she knew where I came from, and I won't tell you the words she had for us. But when I left, she was a very nice person, hardworking, and just as sweet as can be. And her main focus is taking care of these children that she takes care of.
Okay.
And I think things can be worked out. I would just like to revisit it in February and see where we stand. Okay. And then maybe there'll be a few we can work out. We can work it out, maybe.
We can have staff give us an update on where the grants have gone and who has taken advantage of it.
Because I appreciate it. I have a rock driveway, and I realize it will be more attractive when I get my pavers, and it's a good deal, So, we'll see.
We'll make
that's
that
all.
happen.
That's all my comment. Thank
We'll
you.
make that happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Commissioner Thomas?
I would like to make a motion to adjourn.
Okay.
Second.
So,
Second.
okay, we got that comment, but before we do that, do you have any comments?
I would like for Ms. Turner to draft a couple letters for all of us to sign to our new Commissioner Powell and Senator Bernard, congratulating them on their elections.
Absolutely.
And that we look forward to working with them in the future.
Absolutely.
And is there anyone else that we should recognize?
We have
And we have
Attorney
a new school-
Cox.
We have a new school board.
Matt Lane.
Lane, yeah. We have a new school board member. So,
That's all I have tonight.
Alicia Cox as well for state
You state attorney?
Say circuit judge, yeah. So,
That's all. Thank you.
thank you. Now, I'm gonna say I have no comment, so I'm gonna put it back to you, and you go ahead and make your comment now.
Yes, my comment is that it's 8:45, and I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Let's go home.
You might get there.